You're welcome to Akwaza TV, the number one in history, art, culture, and development. In this episode, we're going to be discussing the issue of social mobilization and social good. There are people doing a lot of things, filling in spaces that are traditionally what government should do, and at the same time, also what people who are important in communities should do, which is providing support, giving voices to the people. What motivates you to do, even right now as we're speaking, you are here in Abuja mobilizing support for somebody in the hospital. What motivates you to do this?
I think first and foremost, I must say very well that I was given birth in a very comfortable family, in a very comfortable home. Okay. My dad was quite comfortable. So I wouldn't say much as I saw a lot of suffering in my life until maybe at about 1999 when we lost him. But before then, I kept on telling myself that with the kind of comfort I saw, and I never experienced any suffering that much. I promised myself and I promised God that no matter how comfortable I am, very small, as I'm growing up or after school, I will make sure that I touch other people's lives as well, just the way my father did. Because it's something that he did so much, a lot. There was a time where our house in Abuja here was called Benue Hostel, because almost every Benue person comes to Abuja for a start and stays there before finding his or her footing. So it's something that I felt I should replicate. My father not being alive. And then seeing people suffer was one of my biggest turn-off. I really didn't want it because I had everything I wanted for myself. So the motivation came from the fact that I was very okay. So I needed other people to be okay. But the one that actually struck me like some years back was a friend I lost to breast cancer. She had a breast cancer, and by the time I had seek her permission to use the social media to raise funds, the doctor had called and said she was still going to die, no matter what we did, because the cancer had eaten deep. So I was able to raise about 400,000 before she passed on. So I asked myself, I did this all alone. So what will now happen to the money? So I used the money to do other things around, other people that were sick, other people that needed help. So I said, if I could use the social media jokingly, because she was my classmate, to raise money for her like this, then it's something that I should, let's try it again and see for other people. And that is how I started. And it has been a good story all through. So
when was this?
That was like 6 years back or so. Yeah, so it's been a good story altogether.
Good. Is it good mainly because you always get the results you wanted, or?
It's good because I seek to also give the general public back information, feedback of what they have given me monies for. So, and you know, Nigerians, just human beings generally, if you're entrusted with a mandate, you must show for what you've been entrusted with. And that's what I have been doing over the years. Every money that is given to me, every money that is given to me, I always want to tell people that this is what I've done, down to the fact that I'm even taking the 5,000 to do a particular project. Transportation, even climbing bikes or taking pure water, I always report back to them so that they will see the accountability for what I am doing. So that has given people trust in me to work with me at ease. You know, so it's always been a good story so far, so good, even though there are some challenges there.
And people will think that you're doing this for partisan political gains, that someday you want to come out for.
At first people felt that way, and then maybe sometimes last year when the local government elections were being conducted, I think in Benue or so, some persons printed my poster from my local government because it was zoned to my particular clan. And I heard people saying that, I'm from Konshagav, and then people saying that they're hearing rumors in government house that if I'm actually interested or if I know about what is going on, they will tell whoever to step down. I said, no, I have never had plans of going into partisan politics because I love my life like this. I like a situation whereby everybody should meet me one-on-one. Everybody should talk to me. I hate being protected, like you can't see him, he's sleeping. I don't like those things because I'm just one person God has blessed that I feel that I should give back to the society. So it really cost me some kind of I staggered a bit because the fire was burning, pictures were going viral on the social media, and I knew nothing about it. I didn't know who started it, but we always have a way of defending ourselves from our supporters and our donors speaking for us, even when we're not ready to speak. So gradually it died down. But by and large, I have no plans to ever venture into partisan politics. Never.
But you see the power and the role of partisan politics in this same development, because if you had good hospitals in Makurdi or in the maybe Katsina or somewhere, some of these things that you are having to transport people all the way to Abuja would not have been needed. So how do you bridge that?
We're trying to use, of course, you know that the civil society organization is also a pressure group.
Yes.
So we're trying to use the civil society organization to pressure our leaders to do the right thing. But I'm beginning to feel that as we're going forward as a country, as a people, we're soon going to be getting it right. Because even now we have representatives who will call me, see my update and say, I saw your update that you're bringing so person to Abuja. Let me pay for the complete transportation. Let me see if I can bring a doctor from Abuja to Makurdi to do that surgery instead of you bringing. So I feel we're getting it right. It's a gradual step. It's not something that should just move in a haste. Rome was not built in a day. So I feel with the pressure the civil society is putting on good governance, by 2023 we should be able to get people who will lead us, who will do the developmental work we are yearning for all these years. And I think with good partnership, we can do a lot of development from the federal level here, private companies, a private partnership with other big industrialized business owners to come all the way to being able to set up things. We have a mother and child hospital that is being built by the state government in partnership with, I think it's one of these foreign organizations, and it's just what we're talking about. So I think we're almost there. We're not there, but we're almost there, and I think we'll get it right. Hopefully, by the grace of God, 2022 we're going to get it right, because I've already seen how it's biting people to set the record straight. You can see what is happening right now. That's because good governance have failed us, and we're yearning for something good. So the civil society, alongside every other body, is going to partnership. We're going to have a partnership to make sure that we provide our people good governance in 2023.
Wow. You're already beginning to talk like a politician.
Well, some of them are my friends, so you can't just stay without making contributions. But being to the civil society organization, I also double as an activist, and how will I even put it? Not just an activist, but a civil rights activist. Put it that way.
Okay. So the activist
for do the right thing, focus Nigeria, generation next, if you want to call it. So I just don't want to be tamed a humanitarian where you have to exclude me from doing what will put people straight. No, I want to be encompassed all in one, so that Nigerians will know that let's not just, you have to be diverse in nature to do a lot of things to set the record straight. You need to be straight, you need to be focused to make sure that we're getting it right. Our youths are losing focus because a lot of things are not going well. And monies are flying left, right, and center because these people know that we're ready for leadership, but once you give them some amount of money, they back down. So we want to let people know that these monies they are monies meant for our forefathers and all of us. So we collect it, but we still march forward. So it's just what we're trying to spearhead for a good governance.
The End SARS protests that's raging across Nigeria seems to be beyond SARS. The demands are beyond SARS. But Benue youths don't seem to have joined early enough.
Yes.
What was the problem? Why not think we should connect?
I think one of the problems that we have in Benue when it comes to such things, words on the social media that Benue youths are not proactive. Instead of coming out for the SARS protest, some few persons came out locked up, and because of that, everybody's afraid to come out. Instead, some set of Benue youth had to arrange a prayer summit on the streets. I didn't know if that was going to replicate in SARS, because everybody's afraid of arrest, but that changing a particular situation, there must be resistance, there must be arrest, there must be a lot of things. So I woke up this morning particularly and made a post that we cease to be cowards today. And then we're hitting the streets latest on Friday or Saturday. But back to your question, like I said, leadership among the youth is the problem. Because anytime we try to arrange and organize something for ourselves to come out and speak, somebody within the powers that be breaks into the rank with monetary inducement and then divide the group. And then you are left with a few who are afraid to go out because the majority of the people in government are with them. And then the few persons that were going to send monies to move this protest. Fine, we're always there. We're servants of the public. Well, like I always say, I keep telling people that I have always been a messenger of necessity. So anytime you call on me, I'm ready to move. It's just the work we do, and it's just what it is.
You also complained about harassment by the military. There were posts you made. The military harassing people in some communities. Yeah,
it was. It's a community around Air Force Base in Makurdi. It's a long time fight. The military are encroaching into the land of the community, even though they want peace. The community members want peace, but lately they have extended their barricade or their barriers to inside the village. It's enough that the government is doing enough, well enough to settle them. They've had series of meetings, and I've been part of one of those meetings before, and the governor was not too happy about it, and he had to break into smaller sessions to discuss how peace could be brought between the military and the people in that particular area around Fidi. And at the tail end of the day, peace was, there was a dialogue that brought about peace. But lately, some of these military officers that have bought land around that area had encroached too much, gotten into people's farms. I even have a video where a military man was trying to shoot a traditional head because the man encroached into his farm. It's not even somebody who is from Benue, but he has served here and bought a land across. So it was bad enough that people will be going to work and you stop them, put them on the ground, tell them to carry their bikes on the head, tell them to frog jump, women, children, pregnant women, men. And it was becoming too much. And these people were crying. For over 2 months, they were crying to me. I said, look, I am the voice of the voiceless. You need to speak out. So I had to go to their Twitter account and tell them that if they don't stop the land grabbing they are doing to my people in Benue, we'll end SARS and face them.
End SARS and
face them. The yes, we'll end SARS and face them because they are normal human beings like us. The government is trying to bring peace. They are trying to just forestall everything the government is doing, and it's wrong. So I think we need to speak. It has come to a time where we need to speak. You can only die once, but you must be remembered for something. And some of us are ready to die once.
We'll die, and it must be once. Anyway,
yes, it must be once. So.
If you are made an offer by the government now to sit in a position to do something, maybe a commission or an agency, political. I mean, so it's not partisan political. What would be your response?
Well, my response might not be a public response. My response might be a response directly to who is giving me the job. If there is an interference, I always say this, if there is an interference in my job, I back out. I don't feed on people's money. I don't live on people's wealth. I don't live on.
How do you make money yourself?
I make money myself because now let me make something very clear here. A lot of people don't know that with what I do, I'm still a civil servant.
Oh, you are?
Yes, I am. But that's because I work with the Bureau of Establishment. That is because I have discovered my calling so very quick, and I've decided to step aside. Although I had a one-on-one with my governor, I told him that there were challenges in the civil service where my directors will not want me to travel and do my job. I'm going to Abuja, taking somebody to the hospital, I have to profile a sick child. No, you have to write formally. And then it became too tiring for me. And then I told them I wanted to leave. They said I can't leave. And then they stopped my salary. And then the punishment started setting in for me. For 2 years, I didn't receive salary. I think it's getting to 3 years, I've not received salary. Even though the governor had put in a word that everything accrued to me should be given. But I've not heard anybody approach me and say, oh yeah, come or bring your stuff, let's sort this thing out. So I also do a lot of write-ups for people. I write articles. I do some kind of what I do buying and selling. You know, I'm just comfortable with the little means that I have. I don't want to be so rich. I'm not rich. I'm not poor, but I'm just very comfortable. You know, so if you are giving me a job, you must, you must agree to my own terms. There will be no interference. Because sometimes people take jobs, they're not happy about it, but because they love the position and the things that are cool to the office, they remain dormant there. No, I won't do that. If there's because I remember when people were clamoring for Ukan Kurugh to head the summer office, State Emergency Management Agency.
Yeah.
I said to myself, if this is given to me in as much as a government appointment, I will take it. But the situation whereby I have to do the bidding of some people, especially when distribution of food items is involved, or international donor organization wants to do one of these, and we'll have to do some kind of sharing formula or do some things to impress other people, I will back out. Because I know a good name is better than silver and gold. We were okay with him. I remember when the man from Liberia gave me 1.5 million to Naira to just take care of the widows in all the IDP camps, at least buy something, give them some cash. And I provide about 8 IDP camps around Benin, 8 or 12, I can't remember. You know, while I was doing the work, because I'm a live stream person.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm doing my live stream, I always want people to follow up. So the man also saw that I was doing so much than he felt the 1.5 million was not going to be enough. So he added another 300,000. And along the line, we're doing the work, we finished. I think it took me about 4 or 5 days to do the whole work. And I did my report and I sent it to him. And the man started scolding me. Did I ask you to send me a report? Did I ask you to send me a report? I didn't ask you for a report. I know what you can do. I've believed in you. I've been following you for 3 years. That's the reason why I just called you and asked you, can you do this? You said, yeah, just send me your account number. He sent me. I was even afraid when the money came in because it was so sudden. We just spoke. I didn't know his face.
Yeah.
He said, if I check him on Facebook, I won't even find him. So I didn't even bother. So I went to the bank. I was thinking to say 150,000. So I went to the bank. I told my banker that this figure is confusing. What is this figure? You know, so this answer.
You're not used to seeing.
Yeah, so I did the whole work, and the man later on told me that he had given the same amount of money to 3 people who claimed they do the same thing I do in my state, and there was nothing to write home about. You know, so that is the trust. So because I was doing that and giving everything back to the social media, because the social media is one of my organizational and mobilizational tools. So everything has to come back to the social media because that is where I mobilize to look after the downtrodden. So I think we're doing good and we're doing well.
Yeah, you are. One of the things that brought you to our attention was the live stream in respect of the first COVID-19 case in Benue. Which turned out to be very controversial. Controversial on the basis of the person not declaring on her own, and then the issue lingered on, and it turned out she never manifested, and there was never a clear cut. Reflecting on that episode, do you think there was anything you could have done differently? Because we always criticize social media people that they rush to go to press too fast and all of that, and condemn too fast. And was there anything you would have done differently?
Well, you know, like you said, the story became much more political. Some of us got into it in anger, and I have since apologized for that, because we only saw how people were dying of COVID-19 in far away Europe. So we felt that all the measures that have been put in place in the States, some kind of processes would have been followed to find out that so person was positive or not. You know, so when the government made it known that so person had it in this kind of hospital, and then there was rumors even among the committee members that there was no due process followed here, there was no due process followed here. Some of us went into doing a video in anger, but at the tail end of the day, the government had come out to defend the hospital rather. That the doctor took every step to contain the person who had COVID, but the person was kind of not responding because the person felt she was held hostage. But knowing the truth of the whole matter, I had to go back and make an apology. It's just one of those things, one of those mistakes we do in our work. Everybody does that kind of mistake. It's not something that is new, but if I was in that kind of situation, I really don't know how I would have reacted, because there's something about my state. Everything becomes political.
Yeah.
So sometimes I tend to be very careful on the kind of things I do, even when I get personal attacks that I know that they are coming from quarters that I can just challenge. I just let it die down naturally, because one thing I've noticed about my Benue cyberspace is nothing trends on Benue cyberspace more than 2 or 3 days. It dies down naturally, because in Benue we're just about the hype. And after the hype, everything dies down. Where is the woman today? She has gone back. She's living her life. Do anybody remember that anything of that nature happened? No. So
the most recent hype was the killing of the famous Ghana. You also,
had an encounter
within the interview. How did you feel about all that happened? Were you glad that it's no more? Or there were a lot of altercations.
Well, Ghana had accepted amnesty once. He failed. And he went back into his hiding. And his boys or him continued with their nefarious acts, their criminal activities. And then, with a lot of discussion, I know I had discussions with him for the past 3 months. And all the discussions I had with him, I tried to be very specific and systematic with my dealings with him. So I had to tell the DSS that I was talking to him. I'm talking about this for the first time anywhere. I had to tell the Nigerian army. I had to tell the police that I was talking to him, because he said he was tired of staying in hiding and he needed to come out. So I didn't know that he had already started talking to some other priest, and then the district head of his village, and then the governor got to also know that he wanted to come out again to receive amnesty for the second time. But like we all know, I'm not a military personnel, but we all know that the military don't forgive easily, especially when any of their man is taken down by a perceived enemy or a wanted person. Because if you remember what happened in Zakibiam and OD, you know that they vowed to revenge when they assembled people on open fire. But after all the talking, the negotiations, the talking with the hierarchy of the Nigerian army over here in Abuja, telling them to back down, because he made his terms very clear that he didn't want the army and the police to get involved. He just wanted the traditional rulers and at best the DSS to bring him straight to government house to meet the governor and accept amnesty. Well, I am not the military, I'm not speaking for them, but I was not happy at the way he was killed. That, to me, was a violation of the Geneva Convention and an extrajudicial killing at the same time. But what was not too well with some of us was the fact that you kill a military people, so it's an eye for an eye. I'm not saying it would have been done better. Pictures were flying everywhere on the social media, and who abducted Ghana on the road to the Benin government house took him away, didn't just kill him, butchered him, slowly shot him, stabbed him till he died. Yes, it's good enough that you've done what you've done, you revenge for your friends that you lost in the battle. What was the hype? Circulating the pictures everywhere on the social media.
Yeah, but some of us were worried that Ghana was killing, or at least was allegedly responsible for killing even people that he was supposed to be protecting.
Yeah.
That some of the killings in Benue, even of thief people, were attributed to him.
Yeah.
Is this something?
For me, I just got to know Ghana not too long. In as much as all his activities, I didn't really know how he was operating around the axis until I became very close working with the former Commissioner of Police, Bashir Makama, now retired as AIG. So that was when I even started studying the same thing he was doing.
Okay.
But each and every time, only doing this. But he also said that even if somebody is killed somewhere around Wadata, Ghana will be called because they know him to be a notorious person. So for me, I was worried, and that's the more reason why I kept on asking him deep questions about his activities. For me, anybody who dies is a wasted life, whether good or bad. But there must be a way to always give people the benefit of the doubt to speak. Imagine if Ghana was alive.
Yeah.
Imagine what we would have known. Imagine a lot of things he said on camera, on Channels TV, that is circulating all over the place now.
Yeah.
Imagine we salvaging something from Ghana if it was in a safe haven. A lot of things we would have used that to set the record straight, to safeguard this nation, even if it's from the Middle Belt. You know. So my own concern was the fact that we have lost an information, just like formatting your system with all your data. We've lost something there. So that was my biggest pain. We've lost. There was no return of fire anywhere. You know, this is 21st century lies we tell to the whole world. This is an organ of government that is well respected because of the kind of work we've done in Sierra Leone, Burma, Liberia, and you come and bring a phantom lie, and you expect Nigerians to believe that. For me, I was disappointed. I was disappointed because I knew a lot of things that happened. And there was a better way of saying these things, not the lies and giving money to some civil society organizations to also aid up the lie when they don't know that a lot of people know what had already gone down. Well, it's just peace we need, so I hope that he's taking him down will bring peace in that area. Fine, we're all about peace. If he brings peace, fine. That's another thing I'm talking about, because as I'm talking to you now, I just got an information that a second-class chief or one of the traditional chiefs that was abducted in Zakibiam, and his dead body was returned. So his boys have already started operating. Now that's another menace we have to contend with. Are the military now, are they still on ground to contend these guys? Because from what I heard, that there were some that were coming in a coastal bus or whatsoever bus, that when they heard about what happened to Ghana up front, they did a U-turn going back. How do we now contend these guys? That whole axis is a fearful zone for anybody. For me, even if you are planting 5 million for me to go around that place, I won't go. Let the money pass me, because I know what these guys can do. You know, it's good enough that those pictures didn't circulate, but for somebody who led very notorious men around that side, his pictures are being circulated in that kind of manner. You know, you can do and undo. Remember the guy that came out yesterday that had beads on his waist, that had panties, that stripped naked? He was protesting and he was ready to kill and do anything because his twin brother was killed by SARS. And then he was locked up for about 4 years, 6 months. And nobody has prosecuted any SARS person. That's why the guy came out. He was lamenting. People who didn't know the story were insulting him. Who is this tout? Touts have taken over the protest. But you needed to listen to him to know why he appeared like that. He's a DJ, a graduate of computer science. So, you know, sometimes you need to listen to people's story to know how you will conclude about them. So,
thank you so much. Before we go, I want to ask you, so what are your visions for the future in terms of Ukan Kurugh Foundation, or even the whole activism and well-being in the areas you cover?
My foundation is actually called Ukan Kurugh Humanitarian Foundation. And my vision is just to make sure that everybody live well in Nigeria. People are being catered for, especially the downtrodden. Let's stop. I don't want this situation whereby we have to look faces to help people. That's why when somebody calls me, okay, good afternoon, sir. My name is so. I'm from so local government. My name is, I'm this tribe. I stop you almost immediately. I don't help according to tribe. I don't help according to the state you are from. I help because you are a Nigerian and you need help, and we need to put you in a safe haven, make you well, solve your needs or your problem. Not to start telling me the area you've come from, you're my brother. No, I don't want that. And my vision, like I said earlier, my vision is to reposition the thinking of every Nigerian. It's not everything that revolves around money. You know, we can do a lot of things together. If we come together, we can do a lot of things. So Ukan Kurugh Foundation also is working with the downtrodden, is going to work with communities, international organizations. One side of it, my activism stands. I want to defend the people where there's no justice. I want to speak for them. I want to do a lot. I want people to hear. I want people to know that there's somebody in town that is ready to take the cause of the common man. And that is what Ukan Kurugh represents. And by the grace of God, I think we're going to achieve that. It's just a gradual step. I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a hurry. The name is already on ground. We've been doing a lot of things even before the foundation. So we need to just capitalize on the good work we've been doing. There are challenges, like I said earlier on, but those challenges cannot weaken us. We can only move and move better. That's just it.
You have a team that works with you?
Yeah, well, I have a team. I've not really assembled them, but I have a team. Just people that if I just call one day, they are up. But by the grace of God, they're all waiting for me to start the next big thing. And they're on ground. We'll do that.
Thank you so much. And I wish you
all
the best from Akwaza TV. And anytime you want our support, in terms of talking with